If you're on a coaching, consulting, or an online service-based business, even if you're a SaaS company, and you're running ads, but you find that you're not making the top return on ad spend in your business, then this video is for you, because in this video, I'm going to show you actually probably the biggest and most important approach to advertising. I'm not talking about just marketing, to advertising you need to adopt in your business to double, maybe even triple or quadruple your return on ad spend. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Hi everyone, my name is Nazim and welcome to my channel. In the last 8 years, I've helped my clients generate over $35 million in sales and spend close to $10 million with Facebook, YouTube, and Google ads with these bare hands. And obviously using this experience of mine and all the data I gathered and collected, I'm going to be educating you on some awesome, cool stuff on this channel. So make sure to subscribe and like this video if obviously you're a business owner yourself and you want actionable advice on marketing, advertising, sales, and business growth. So let's dive right in. My whole life I've been on a quest as a marketer to help my clients increase their return on ad spend. And basically return on ad spend is a difference between how much you spend on ads and obviously how much you make back in revenue. And as an advertising specialist only, my biggest strategies were only aimed at improving the cost per lead, namely bringing down the cost per lead or increasing the click-through rate, or basically helping my clients to pay less for clicks and stuff like that. But then as I started moving away from advertising and also obviously spending more time and focus on other revenue generating activities in my clients' businesses, such as sales, such as increasing their customer lifetime value, I came to a realization that improving advertising only wasn't the most effective way to help my clients improve their ROAS. And obviously, like if we're talking about marginal gains, yes, if you want to increase your ROAS by 20%, definitely you can achieve that by improving the landing page conversion rate by, if it's 20%, you can get it up to 22% and you can reach your 20% plus ROAS there. But basically, if you are looking to increase your return on ad spend and take it from 200 to 300% to literally 1,000%, and one of my clients is actually running at 1,200% ROAS, and I'm going to record on a video on that. That's going to be a part of a longer video on exactly what I help them with to achieve such a goal. But generally speaking, if you want to quadruple your results when it comes to ROAS and not just play the game of marginal gains, then you will need a much larger or a more comprehensive macro economic or just macro level changes in your business and not just focusing on advertising, right? And the reason I'm recording this video is because so many businesses are focused so much and almost like solely focused on improving their advertising campaigns. They're pestering on their advertising teams to increase the CPL, and they're buying all these advertising courses on whatever, like coming up with better advertising bidding strategies. While the question that I like to ask my clients is, what is your end goal, right? Because advertising, sales, those are all means to a certain goal, right? And first, it's important to understand what that end goal is. And obviously, 99% of the time, their end goal is to make more money. And then I asked them, how much more would you like to make? So a company is making $200,000. I say, how much more you would like to make? They say would like to make $400,000. Well, I say, if you want to make $400,000, you want to pretty much double your revenue, just improving your landing page experience, optimization, or whatever, like in terms of ads, is not going to help. More so if their goal is more than 400,000. Like a lot of times clients come to me and they tell me that in a year from now or in 2 years from now, I want to be at $1 million. And guess what? Despite the fact what marketers tell you that you can just infinitely up your budget and you're going to infinitely scale, in real life it doesn't work like that. You can only scale and get sort of like equally juicy returns in advertising only until a certain budget, and then from there kicks in the law of diminishing returns. So you have to play the game not just by powering through it with advertising budget, but you also have to play it smart. So basically, about 2 years ago, I took notice of a very interesting fact based on a few very successful client case studies of mine. What I basically do is when I start working with clients, I put them through a certain tracking system that I call it, always keeps changing its names, but universal I like to call the EQ system. And basically in the EQ system, never mind the name, right? It's got other, like total different origins. Maybe I'll cover it in a separate video on this channel. But basically with the EQ tracking sheet, what I like to do is I basically like to flesh out my clients' businesses into a string of numbers that represent advertising, that represent funnel conversion and gains, that represent sales, represent customer lifetime value, like all of that, like customer satisfaction score. So basically, because to me, a business is nothing but a numbers game, right? And basically by looking at all the numbers on from a bird's eye view, you can spot the places where your business is lacking. So basically, as I was doing it and doing some inspection work to kind of like try to find commonalities or try to find some common patterns between those clients of mine that were doing spectacularly well, right? I'm talking about literally going from 200,000 a month to $1 million a month within like a year and a half. I'm talking about that, right? There are plenty of other clients that are going from 200 to maybe 300,000 and stuff like that. And that's great, amazing as it is. But I was trying to hack my way into like what's causing amazing growth, so I can obviously replicate those strategies with my other clients. And I basically realized a very interesting thing. I realized it when I was going through financial sheets, and I realized that actually when my clients were spending money on ads, like the cash collected, from the monthly sales we would collect, were actually almost like breaking even with our ad spend. And then all the money we made on top of that came actually from other sorts of sales, right? Now, what those other sorts of sales mean exactly, and I'm talking about like 80% of cash collected. I'm going to talk about that in a second, right? I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not going to go into super deep dive, and I'm going to cover it in another video. But this video is going to be still freaking valuable as it is, all right? Because like in this video, I want to go into why, right? Not how. Because why actually is more important than how, in case you didn't notice. So basically, I was kind of like thinking, but how does that work, right? Like what has allowed my clients to run to be honest with you, such a crappy system, financial at least, if you look at it, kind of like from the outside as an onlooker, if you would look at it, it would be really strange, right? Like, so let's say you spend 10,000, not my clients spend more than 10,000, let's say they would spend $60,000 on ads, and they would generate $70,000 from the cash collected from the sales in that month. And then that kind of like seems like as a horrible way to run a business, right? Not so much. And it also really depends on the type of company or type of business you're running. Because if you're in the online courses space, if you're selling some automated courses where you just want to kind of, you just only have one product and one product only, let's say you're selling something for $10, and it's in your best interest to make sure that your cost per sale is only $5 and it doesn't go below that. And if you spend $60 and you earn $70, it's horrible, because it means that you just gambled on spending $60,000 to make a $10,000 profit in return. Like it's just not worth it, right? But, and this is why I brought up in the beginning of the video, in the first opening of the video, if you run a coaching, consulting, or a service-based business, even SaaS, you're not tied down to only one product, at least not after some years in business. And what you should totally do is launch other products on the back end and make sure that those products are packaged in a way more valuable way, are priced in a more valuable way, are juicier sales that you would make at full profit to existing customers. And now those, you need to basically start moving your sales strategy in the direction that those become the backbone of become the 80% of your ongoing cash collected. So let me actually explain you how it worked out with this one client where I found this pattern. I started working with them. Maybe I should have just started the video by telling the story. But anyway, you're here, right? We're all having fun. You're watching this video. So I started working with these guys in July or August. And they came to me. I think they were spending like $40,000, $30,000, and they were making like $70,000 or European clients in return. And basically, what I started realizing and implementing in their business is what I'm talking about now. Launching new products on the back end and still going hard on advertising, but using advertising as just means to acquiring new customers, and then teaching and managing and mentoring the sales team to make sure that those new customers, as soon as they run through the first course they bought on the webinar or whatever, right? Whatever acquisition system you're using, you can be selling even a book for all I know. Basically taking those new clients, and after they run their course through product number 1, selling them to product number 2 and 3. And basically the way we designed with this client was that these products 2, 3, they were, like the first one we were selling, I think, at like $5,000-$6,000. So it was like a consulting thing. But then the products we started selling after that were priced at $15,000, $30,000. And it would go on these products. Of course, it would go for a whole year or for 2 years, and we would obviously also sell this thing on split payments. Basically getting people on contracts, having them pay us $2,000, $3,000, even $1,000 a month over a period of 24 months. And then, obviously, guys, also I mean it ethically. I'm not talking about like tricking with subscription payments, auto charging their credit cards. That's not what I'm talking about. Actually, in the end, I think our upsell rate to these higher end offers was like 15%. So in the grand scheme of things, only 1 out of 6 or 7 people really only ended up going in that program because they implemented the first product well enough and they had the finances going for them to be able to invest in these other kind of like higher tiers, right? So I'm not talking about like tricking people into subscription plans and then charging their credit card. And yeah, okay, so I just want to get that out of the way. So what happened was that we started implementing this strategy in October or something like that. And then basically, as we started doing it, there was a 1 month or 2 months of hurt because we started basically even slightly upping the ad spend, and we started moving away from selling the programs that were a bit juicy on the front end, like for 5, 6, or even 7K. But what we started doing instead is we started more so like focusing our sales team efforts on selling people into these continuity programs, which would not come with like crazy cash collected up front, because you have to remember people were signing up for like monthly payment plans. So they would start with 1.5K, 2K instead of 5, 6K up front, for the first product. But then what started happening was that these clients we started enrolling in the months of October and November, their payments. So let's say from October we started basically enrolling like anywhere from 10, 15 to 20, 30 new clients every month who were paying $15K, who were basically signing up for paying $1,500 or $2,000 a month on continuity programs. And at first it was kind of like starting slowly, but then lo and behold, after 4 months, we already had like 60, 70, 80 people who contractually were paying us $15 each, $1,500, $2,000, cash collected for their time in these higher tier programs. So funny enough, now in February or this month, March, I'm not really good with months, March, April, May, yes. In March, we were still spending the same amount of ad spend, like, your 40, 50K per month, to get the same amount of new users. But now what's happening is we're also cash collect an extra 200K, 300K from all the recurring payments on the back end. And this is the biggest premise of this video. Because now we are, first of all, not relying on ads at all whatsoever, because we already have this strong base of recurring sales coming in. That's number one. Number two, profitability in the business has increased greatly, because guess what? These 160K that are hitting our bank accounts every month, they're coming at no expense. I mean, for except the human overhead costs, right? No extra advertising or marketing expense, which in coaching, consultant, service providing businesses, marketing expense or client acquisition expense are the highest or most juicy expenses. So we don't have that. So profitability also increased. And number three, predictability of the business also increased. As in, we don't have to basically go through months of feast and famine, because we know that literally, as of now, we know that over the next 8 additional months, we're guaranteed to collect at least 90% of the 160K, 200K, 300K. I'm just like, giving it to you as an example, right? We're guaranteed to collect it. So basically, in essence, the way we're looking at it is we're looking at advertising, and this is how the biggest players play the game. We're looking at advertising as a means to even breaking even and acquiring clients at no cost, break-even costs, and then our sales team would have geared our sales teams and trained them so well that they capitalize on every one of those client prospect opportunities on the back end with more products. So that's it. I hope this was kind of like I thought this would be a shorter video, but it's going on for 21 minutes already. Well, maybe 20 minutes. But I hope I made my case here. If you want to work with me, go to nazimconsulting.com, apply for a strategy session. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment, send it to your entrepreneur friends, because what is happening on this YouTube channel is not like 5 steps to increase your social media reach. No, we're talking about big boy strategies, tactics, and I hope you like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.